How does flying to Japan for just $49 in fees round trip sound? I'm not talking about some budget airline with 3 layovers. I'm talking about Singapore Airlines, one of the best airlines in the world. When looking for flights to book using points and miles, most people completely miss this option because it doesn't show up on any award search tools and it's simply overlooked. Today I'm going to show you exactly how to find and book these flights, plus why this might be the perfect option even if you don't live on the West Coast, and why does being on the West Coast matter anyway. But first, let's talk numbers. Singapore Airlines charges 500,000 points for business class one-way, 73,000 for premium economy, and 38,500 points for economy. But here's what makes this special. You'll pay just $5.60 flying to Japan and $44 flying back. Many other airline partners, in contrast, will charge you hundreds of dollars of fees, even in economy. And especially for the return flight back to Japan, those fees tend to be higher. Now, I know what you might be thinking, Michael, what about that business class price? And look, I get it. I love a good business class deal as much as the next person. And while this is still a decent or okay value for a great business class product, I do agree this price isn't great. But hear me out. Premium class, they get all the spotlight, but I think the economy pricing for Singapore Airlines is where they really shine. And economy redemptions, they make a lot of sense for a lot of people, especially when you're traveling with a family and you need multiple seats, or maybe you just want to save points for another trip, and especially if you're flying during peak season and cash prices are insane. For instance, I helped a client find 4 seats for a graduation celebration to Japan this summer most recently, and even I'm taking some family on this route as well to get to Japan. Now, with all this said, there is kind of a catch to this redemption, and I'll share it while I show you exactly how to find these flights. So like I said, Singapore Airlines doesn't show up on any award search tools, points, SlotAero, none. So you'll first need to head over to their website, singaporeair.com, and then make sure you log in by clicking on the button in the top right hand corner. After doing so, it'll take you to this page. Go ahead, click redeem flights, and then type in where you want to go. And now this is where the catch comes in, because Singapore Airlines, they fly directly to Tokyo on one single route, and that's between LAX and Narita, Tokyo, and the opposite route as well, like from Narita to LAX. But don't worry, even if you're not based in LA, I'll show you why this is still useful for you here soon. But for now, go ahead and select whatever date you're looking for, and then I always like to search one way. I've got a video detailing why above if you want to check that out later, and then you're going to head and hit search here, and then it will bring you to your award flight options. And so as you can see, there's Savor Award Space and Advantage Award Space. It's always going to be the Savor Awards that you're looking for. The Advantage, it comes with the perk that you're able to book a stopover if you wanted to extend your itinerary, but it comes at too great of a cost in my opinion. So Savor Awards only. If there is none available, it'll show the higher price within this 7-day calendar. And so they don't have a full award calendar to look off of, but it's fairly simple just to hit this arrow and see the following week's redemptions, which is pretty nice that you can see all the availability relatively easily. Now they do only let you search one cabin at a time, so these are the economy pricing. You would have to redo the search to look for premium economy or business class. Simply clicking on the rate will give you the total number of taxes and fees here in the corner, 6,970 Japanese yen. That's roughly $44 one way on the way back. So just be sure to use a credit card with no foreign transaction fees whenever you make this redemption. So once you confirm the award availability is there for whatever number of passengers you want, you can now transfer your points, come back to Singapore once those points hit your account, and make that redemption. Now a quick tip, I know sometimes you may have heard me or someone else say that award availability is sometimes released last minute. This isn't the case for Singapore Airlines. Usually once the award availability is gone, it's gone. But there is some good news about Singapore, and that's that almost every major credit card program transfers to them. We're talking about American Express, Chase, Capital One, and Citi. But there is something crucial that you do need to know about transferring your points to Singapore, and that's that the timing can be unpredictable. From personal experience, I've seen Capital One transfers take anywhere from an instant transfer to several days. Personally, I transferred over 200,000 points for a redemption on Singapore Airlines to Bali, and it took a couple days, but then another client, they were able to transfer their Capital One points instantly over to Singapore. So with that said, your mileage may vary, and let me just save you from a common mistake. Please don't do a test transfer. This is whenever you send 1,000 points over just to see how long it will take. Worst case scenario, they may flag your account for fraud, or it may just simply slow down your next transfer. And so this is an issue I see commonly on Reddit threads threads, so just try to stay away from it. And so now let's get back to the fact that this is only available from LAX. And so this is still relevant even if you're not from the West Coast, because you might actually save money by finding a cheap positioning flight to LAX and taking this redemption still. Alternatively, you could even find a cheap award flight, especially during peak seasons. This will save you a lot of money, and this savings may greatly outweigh the cost even with that positioning flight. For example, that same client I mentioned before was flying from DC to Japan for a family of 4. This would cost them $6,000. We found award flights from DC one way, and on the return route, we used the Singapore Airlines route. Now, even factoring in a $694 one-way positioning flight back for all 4 people, you're still getting 1.4 cents per point. Now, this value won't get you any Hall of Fame recognition on Reddit. However, it will get you real life savings and real life family memories for a trip of a lifetime for a decent value using your Capital One points or other points for that matter. So I want you to always compare your points redemption over to the cash prices of what you'll actually pay to make sure you're not losing value, because economy trips like this might not be worth it during off seasons when cash prices aren't that expensive. The screenshot I showed you was from my award redemption analyzer, by the way. Link is in the description. It'll help you make these calculations a lot easier and faster. So with all this said, Singapore Airlines, it might not be the first program you think of for Japan flights, but with fees this low and points from nearly every credit card program transferring, it's definitely worth keeping in your back pocket. If you want to learn more about different flight options to Japan, I've got this playlist that you can refer to, and I'll be adding videos to it as we talk about more Japan redemptions. Or if you want to learn about how to get cheap domestic points flights, check out this playlist here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.